Hello and welcome back to Maeve Reads Books. Today I'm reviewing a book called A Poem for Every Day of the Year, and it's by a lot of different poets because it's not all by the same poet, but it was edited by Allie Esiri. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but I might not be because, let's face it, I'm not the best at pronouncing things. And it's a bit different from what I usually do because usually I'm either stories or a fact book, but this is like poetry, and I actually really love poetry. And this is my favourite, this is definitely my favourite poetry book in the world. I absolutely adore it. I've read it loads of times. All my favourite poems are all bookmarked with my special owl bookmarks that I thought kind of went well with it. Oh, one of them's fallen out. We don't need it anymore. And I love the cover as well. I don't know who illustrated this, but it is a beautiful book. I just love it. It's going to be quite a short review as well, but because it's poetry, I can't really review poetry. But I'll tell you all my favourite poems in it. And if you have this book, you should definitely think about like reading all these poems if you haven't read the whole book. The Walrus and the Carpenter. I like The Frog and the Nightingale. It Was Long Ago. Whatever, this one I think. I like Minnie and Winnie. The Lesson. Oh, that one's fallen out as well. Sorry, these are very old bookmarks. I like My First Day at School and The Computer's First Christmas. I also love Refugees. I think that's one of the ones that the bookmark fell out. There is literally a book for every day in a leap year, a poem I mean, and it's really big. Some poems are like really like long stories, a few pages long. Some of them are just really short ones. I don't think it matters very much if I read you one poem, maybe one short one. It's very good. It will. I'll read you one that I know the author has more in, so it's not like I'm spoiling her poems. Oh, and you can like read books like poems from your birthday and like maybe the day it is today, and that's really cool because each one is labelled, and this one for the 8th of February is really short. So it's called An Unusual Cat Poem by Wendy Cope, who's also written a very good poem, but this is probably my least favourite of all her poems in this. But anyways, my cat is dead, but I've decided not to make a big tragedy out of it. That's all the poem is. That's all it says, and that is so funny. And every time you open this book, unless you read it from cover to cover, which I didn't do because I couldn't. I tried reading it like every day. I'd read like maybe if it was the 20th of August, I'd read the 20th of August, and if it was the 19th of October, I'd read the 19th of October. But anyways, so I love this book. Definitely some of my favourite poem, probably the whole thing, is definitely Refugees or The Walrus and the Carpenter. And I remember I got it for Christmas about 2 years ago. I think it was 2023 Christmas. So yeah, 2 years ago. And I remember looking at all like everybody's birthdays, and I just loved it. And this is kind of when I started getting into poetry. But what really got me into poetry, and I've written loads of poems myself as well, and I think they're not that bad. They're not bad poems. Is my teacher taught us poetry, and I just loved it, and I wrote loads of poems, and my friend loved writing poems as well, so we wrote poems together. So we just wrote heaps and heaps of poems. And I definitely think that there's kind of a poem for everybody, and some of them are really short. So if you don't really like a really, really long poem that you're literally reading pages and pages, and it takes you like a long time to finish it, because like some of these poems even took me like a few minutes to finish it, and usually a poem should only take you like 1 minute to finish. But like if you don't like them, there's lots of short ones. I mean, that one was 1 sentence long, the one I read you, and I definitely think that like you could, if you like long poems, you can just read a long poem because there's so many books, and they're all by different poets. There's all different styles. There's some like, you know, that kind of old like Shakespeare kind of poetry, and then there's the funny kind of new kind of poetry. One thing I want to say is the acknowledgements are tiny. That's the writing for the acknowledgements, and I feel like you're not really acknowledging people if their name is that small. So I'm just saying that. But like that's not really my problem. The size of the printing in the book. The actual size of the printing for the poems is great. that was The Walrus and the Carpenter I'm open on. It's just because I read that so many times that it keeps opening on that page. I need to re-bookmark this because a lot of the bookmarks fall off as soon as I touch them. So what you need to do, if you've got a book that you have for a long time, the stick is completely gone out of that. I can't. I've got like a big recycling pile here now. I know this is not very related book, but if you've got like sticky bookmarks, after about a year they start falling off. So you need to go to each page and rip off the bookmark and put in a new one. So, but I have lots of these bookmarks left because I also like this one. I like both of these poems. These are both Christmas themed poem. This one is very famous, kind of old poem, and then this one is like a really new poem, and it's just got lots of words that are kind of Christmassy sounding, but not really. The last one is Isantimum, and there's like Christmary Amararia. So it gets weirder and weirder, and the poem is called The Computer's First Christmas. Okay, I think I should wrap up the review here because otherwise I'll keep warbling about bookmarks and things like that, which gets a bit boring for people. I'm sure some people have been bored to death just wanting a proper book review and watching me warbling about bookmarks. So I'm warbling now. I'm such a chatterbox. Anyways, my favourite poem in the whole thing, definitely you should read. I've said this a few times, Refugees, because it's just so cool. Do exactly what it says, because otherwise it just sounds like a mean poem, though, because, you know. Anyways, I loved all the different kind of styles of poetry, and like I've written lots of my favourite poems. I try to write like a new modern-y kind of poem or like an old poem, and I think some of them turned out horrible and I would rip them up and throw them in the bin. Some of them turned out great and I'd have them like on my wall on special paper. Anyways, I definitely think you should try writing poetry, because even though poetry might be a bit boring to read, it's so fun to write. So I absolutely think that this book is the best poetry book in the world. There's also a book called A Poem for Every Night of the Year that I kind of want to get. But also, look at the cover art. It's just beautiful. I feel like poetry it always has like loads of animals and leaves kind of. So there's bunnies. They're a bit creepy bunnies, and the dog is too. The sun is super creepy, but in a beautiful way. Like creepy cute, like a labubu. And this bird. And I think I kept it in reasonable condition. I tried to put like beads on this though. So it'll be like a really pretty like bookmark, but they just fell off. So now I've just got this really frayed looking piece of thing, and it's very like it's gone all fluffy and soft up here at the top, but like it's in reasonable condition. Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Stop talking, Maeve. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week on Maeve Reads Books.